Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, did the former Clipper, or did the former double agent Montrezl Harrell secret plan backfire on him? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you go ahead and check out Dreamerspro Max, our online sports community, place where you can go and start basketball discussions, chat live during games. So many of the cool things. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check that out. We have that linked in the description below and get 7 days of access. And also make sure you go ahead and click the join button to join the channel to receive loyalty badges from our channel. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Anyway, this is a pretty interesting topic. So this topic was inspired by the game that I just saw last night between the Lakers and the Suns, but with the Suns eliminating the Lakers. And as I was watching that game, I was sitting there and I was thinking about Montrezl Harrell, and Montrezl Harrell came to my mind. And I was watching as I was watching that game, and then so many thoughts started to come to me. Now, ever since Montrezl Harrell left the Clippers and decided to go sign with the Lakers, so many people felt that he was in a much better situation, right? He's no longer with the dysfunctional Clippers, who had, the curse and all of these different things. It didn't work out with them. He's going to go play with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and these guys are the defending champions. So it was going to be the perfect scenario for him. Things were going to go there. He was going to go there and things were going to work smoothly. And him and LeBron James, as a matter of fact, even had a relationship even before he ended up even going to go play with the Los Angeles Lakers. This goes way back. We said this in some videos that we did previously, and we did a video last year that got a lot of people up in arms. But I said it then, I'm going to say it now. Montrezl Harrell always looked up to LeBron James. He said that, listen, LeBron James is one of my mentors. How do I know this, right? I don't know Montrezl Harrell. I've never spoken to him a day in my life. But I remember looking on his Instagram account a while back. This is last year. And I saw an image of him and LeBron James embracing. And he goes, something about, thank you for you being my mentor and all of these different things. So LeBron James was one of his mentors, and he had a relationship with LeBron James, right? This was clear, and you can go back on his Instagram. It was there. There was another part of this that also proved that him and LeBron James had a relationship, which is due to the fact that Montrezl Harrell is a Clutch Sports client. Now, what's the relation there? You say, well, what does it have to do with LeBron James? Clutch Sports is owned and operated by LeBron James's childhood friend and Rich Paul, right? He owns and operates that company, and LeBron James is best friends with him, and he's a Clutch Sports client. There's always these jokes that Skip Bayless made. Oh, your Clutch Sports clients don't get to go into the cap. They can sign all of these players because Clutch, all of these different things, right? So some people, like, for example, Clippers fans, felt that last year Montrezl Harrell was a double agent. They felt like he wasn't putting his best foot forward because he was a Clutch Sports client. Him and LeBron James were friends, and they felt like he kind of mailed it in certain points in the season. In the Orlando bubble, there was an article that came out. I think it was during or after the bubble. Because you remember, Montrezl Harrell had an issue with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George receiving preferential treatment, where Kawhi Leonard's trainer came out and said something to the extent of, yeah, this, and that, and we need to get rid of that double agent. He didn't say the guy's name, but he said that double agent. And I was like, well, who is he referring to? The only player on the Clippers roster at the time that he could be referring to was Montrezl Harrell, because Montrezl Harrell is a Clutch Sports client, but he plays on the Clippers, and y'all know that the Clippers and the Lakers had this rivalry, going out there. Now, it was one thing for kind of Clippers fans to kind of make such an assertion, but it was a completely different thing where Kawhi Leonard's trainer came out and made that point. For the people out there wondering, well, where did you see that? Just go hunt it down. Just go look for Kawhi Leonard's trainer, making those comments. You guys can find that on the internet. That's how I found it. Now, I think Montrezl Harrell felt like, listen, these Clippers, they don't know what the heck they're doing. I'm going to go play with the Lakers because they know what they're doing. They just won a championship. They're moving in the right direction, right? Remember, Montrezl Harrell last season for the Clippers had a career year. He was the sixth man of the year last year when he played with the Clippers. He had his best individual season in his career ever that year with the Clippers when he was a sixth man of the year. He scored 18.6 points per game. He shot 58% from the field. He shot 66% from the free throw line. Got you 7.1 rebounds. This is all coming off the bench, right? 1.7 assists and 1.1 blocks. He was doing all of this being an undersized power forward coming off the bench for the Clippers. But when he went to the playoffs, all of his numbers dropped. We've done videos. We've done numerous videos on this, and all of these different things. So I don't have to go in there and kind of belabor the point there, right? But when he went to the Lakers this season, what happened? We thought that he was going to be this big pickup. You saw Shannon Sharp out there, beating the drums. We got Montrez, he's going to be with us. Montrezl Harrell, he's going to be doing this, and that, and this is this and this and this, and then all of these different things. And what happened? Montrezl Harrell goes and signs with the Lakers, and immediately he gets relegated to a bench role. Now, some people may say, well, he was a bench player, so that's understandable. But the problem is he was on the bench. And there were many times where he would barely get any run during games. It got to the point where Montrezl Harrell just completely kind of fell out of the Lakers rotation, really. And there was a player, I think his name was Steven Jackson. He came on First Things First and Undisputed the other day. And they were asking him about some of the issues that the Lakers were suffering. And he said, listen, the Lakers coaching staff, they did a terrible job with Montrezl Harrell, referring to Frank Vogel. He said, you pretty much don't play the guy for the majority of the season. You don't really play him any significant minutes. Then you end up losing him and all of that, meaning his self-confidence. He doesn't know what his role is on that team anymore. And he said they lost him. They lost Montrezl Harrell. He probably mentally checked out of that situation. He felt like, listen, I came here, I thought I was going to be a major contributor, and I get relegated to the bench, and I never really come off the bench. Just last night I was watching the game and I saw him out there playing in the game. I'm like, what's the purpose? You're putting a guy in a game in a blowout, in a game, in an elimination game. You put him in this game. The guy went from being a sixth man in the NBA to just being some role player that you throw in garbage minutes, or you throw in when the ship is sailing and you expect him to pick up a bucket and start bailing, start pouring water out of the boat. There was nothing he could do. And I'm sure when Montrezl Harrell was in that game, he was mentally checked out. He was like, man, let the shot clock just run, let the game clock just run out. I don't even want to be out here with these guys, right? So they completely lost him, and he became a role player that didn't really really matter. Now, there's a lesson in all of this. What's the lesson? Some of you guys will say, okay, what's the lesson in all of this? The lesson is this. Sometimes you may be in a situation that may not be perfect, right? It may not be a perfect situation. You may not be with all the people that you like to, that you want to be around, but it doesn't always mean that the grass is greener on the other side. I think a lot of us feel like, okay, well, if things ain't working, I'm out. I'm going to go over there. If this ain't working with her, I'm going to go with her. When in reality, it's not always the case. There's a saying that says it's better to suffer with the devil that you know than the devil that you don't know, right? Montrezl Harrell was with the Clippers. He was getting significant minutes. He was a sixth man of the year. I guarantee you, if he was with the Clippers, he would have probably got more minutes throughout the regular season. The organization really, they really wanted the guy, but then he started acting up. He started having issues with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. He started feeling that he was bigger than what he really was. He was a sixth man in the NBA, and he thought he was an all-NBA player. He thought he was a finals MVP type player. He's sitting there looking at these guys, expecting these guys to kind of prove themselves. These are all NBA players. What do they have to prove to you? Nothing. But he felt that way. You took a situation where the city embraced you. You were with the team. Y'all had a very good run the year prior, taking the Golden State Warriors to 6 games in the playoffs where no one expected you guys to do that. Then you go there and you just kind of mess things up to the point where people were saying you were cancer in the locker room. You leave the team, or the team lets you walk because they didn't want you anymore. You go to the Lakers and you find out, listen, things were better off when I was with the Clippers. I think if Montrezl Harrell had it to do it all over again, I think he would have probably changed his approach and try to figure out a way to stay with the Clippers and help that team, because you end up going to the Lakers. Look what it got you. Pretty much nothing. Go look at his numbers this season. All of his numbers went down, and it's because the Lakers just mismanaged him, and I think they sold him a bag of goods that they were never intending to deliver. So that's what happened to Montrezl Harrell. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think Montrezl Harrell, do you think his plan backfired on him? Do you think he should have been more humble and he should have found a way to stay with the Clippers? Or do you think that, hey, listen, it is what it is and you don't really care? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.